Alright guys, I'm going to try to take you through a relatively quick inspection just to show you some things about the hive. This is not an in detail, in-depth kind of inspection. This is just to show some pieces, parts. So you'll see this first thing I got here is a concrete block. You can use just about anything. They just recommend that you use something for weight on the top of the hive. It helps keep critters out of it. So that's all that's for. We're going to move that aside real quick. Next comes the top, and you want to try and keep as much of the debris that's in here or on here off and out of the hive. I like to tip it forward or tip it to the side. Just set that aside. This is called the top board right here, and sometimes you got to get under it with a hive tool just to break it apart, loosen it up a little bit. If there's any junk, any bad bugs, any trash, debris, whatever, just dump it off, get rid of it. On the bottom, there'll probably be a lot more bees, and I've already scraped the wax and stuff off that was on here the last time I got in. Set that aside. Now, this box, last time I got in here, was empty, and this, let me double check that. Yeah, they're already building out a lot of comb on that. You can see it's starting to get thicker on there. Some of these center ones are going to have a lot of comb on them because that's where the bees are doing more work. You can see that one's really filling out here in this one side in particular. We're not expecting to see any brood or any eggs up here. This is a honey super, so we're expecting to see just honey in due time. Be kind of surprised to see anything now. I've only had this on here for about 10 days. It does look like they're trying to get some stuff stored though, a couple of places. Ah, there, if you can see that, there's the shiny part in there. They're making honey already. That's amazing. Because these would have been brand new frames 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So I'm real excited about that. They haven't capped any of them, but they've got it started. If they keep going at this rate by summer, the end of summer, there'll definitely be honey up here to harvest. And this is the second season for this set of bees, so we could definitely have bees, honey, this season out of this. Alright, I'm not going to spend much time dealing with this particular one. We're not going to go frame by frame, but I want you to see they've built the frame out, and they've started making honey in this, and so that bodes well for later in the season. Alright, so we want to get down the next box is a brood box, and in that one, if I set this up the way I think I did, we should expect to start seeing some eggs, larvae, closed cells. This time of year we might even see a queen cell, so let's see what we can find in the next one. Alright, so we'll use this hive tool and break that seal they put on it. And we'll take this one out of the way. All right. Here, not expecting to see much on this side. In fact, they've done nothing over here. Okay, these are 3 new frames, so not expecting to see much out of that. This is an older frame, been in here for a while. And this one, they're filling with honey as well. But if you look carefully, down here on the bottom, just broke open some of these cells here. Don't really want them on the bottom like that, so I'm gonna peel those off, but they've got some brood there. If you can see down in the, let's see if I can get this on the camera here. See some of the larvae down in these holes. They're going to be capped in the next few days, and those will be bees in about 2 weeks. All right, we'll just move that over. Wow, look at the honey coming on in there. That's fantastic. And the brood chambers move just into the very bottom edge of this. We want to limit that. So I will probably, next time I'm in this hive, I'll probably put a queen excluder in here, or I'll make the decision to let her move up into this box, because we do have the box on top for them to make honey, and she's gonna need a big brood box by the end of the summer. So I'm gonna have to probably do some math and think it out between now and the next time I get in here. Now you'll notice this frame is made out of wood as opposed to the plastic. I personally prefer the plastic because they're solid. Some of these wooden ones are, okay, that's stuck, are wood with a plastic insert. And I want to show you in this one, all this yellow and gold colored stuff is pollen, and so they will be using that for food. It's high in protein, and they'll be using that to feed on. And this side, wow, that's beautiful. That's loaded with pollen. That's fantastic. All right, well, we're not doing too much here, so I want to go ahead and move, get this one kind of out of the way. All right, again, we're going to break this seal. Big make. What I'm doing right now is I'm breaking off some of this extra comb that they built in between, because I don't want these in between. I want them in the, actually in the frames. So I'm breaking off that extra. I know that's off camera, but you'll see it here as well. I'm going to do this here too. I want to get rid of this comb that they've built up. That's going to make them mad. Alright, so let's see what we can find out in here. Okay, so we got a relatively new frame here. So I just put this in, a couple of these on the side a couple weeks ago when I was in this hive, expanding it. They're already building honey. They've even got some sealed honey here. This is fantastic. They're doing this already. This one's almost ready to fill. And since this is in the brood chamber, they should be filling these, the queen should be filling these with eggs. That can be raised up. Alright, so we got more honey coming, we got more pollen. I'd like to get over here and see some brood. There we go. Alright, so each one of these capped cells on this one are brood. Those are new bees. Those are baby bees coming, getting ready to come out. We've got pollen along the sides here. We've got some cells with honey. But all of these that are closed are baby bees. Now these bigger ones down along the bottom, those are drone bees. Those are the male bees. We turn this over, we've got a lot more closed cells. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera. But down here, in these cells right here, those little tiny white spots down the bottom are baby larvae. Those are just a few days old. I'm trying to see if there's eggs in this. It looks like there are, but they're not going to show up on camera. Yeah, there's definitely eggs in here. That tells us we've got an active queen. Whether we find her or not doesn't really matter, because we know we've got eggs and baby larvae in there. That tells us that she's been active just in the last couple of days. That's a huge thing to pay attention to. I mean, it's obviously something we want to see her if we can, but not a requirement. Oh, there's a drone bee. Not seeing many of those yet, but this bigger one here with these huge eyes, that's a drone. Again, we got a lot of capped brood, and this side is filled with larvae and little eggs. Alright, so that's good news. Same thing here, we've got a lot of capped brood. This one's got a lot of honey. It's got some closed cells, which is good. Ah, there's an interesting thing to see. Right here on the bottom, these two cells right here that are hanging down, those are queen cells. We'll take a quick peek in there. Neither one of them are closed. See if they're working on something down in there. They're not. So they're not ready to requeen, but they're thinking about it. This side's almost completely covered with pollen. and food sources. There's a few cells that are capped brood, but most of it's food. In fact, this whole corner up here is all pollen. That's amazing. This side, the same thing. There's a lot of pollen on that cell. That's on this frame. That's absolutely fantastic. All right, so we've seen brood, we've seen eggs, we've seen young larvae. That's fantastic. We're going to close this up. Give you a quick conversation. These bottom two boxes are intended to be for brood. That's the babies. And we're gonna put these back together. We didn't see the queen, but we did see evidence that she's here. So this is the construction of a hive. You got the base, which you can't really see. Maybe in the front, that board that sticks out on the bottom, that's the base. And then you put your brood boxes on top of that. That's where the family is raised, if you will. So we've got brood in that box. We've got brood in the bottom of this box. And as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I want to leave that queen excluder out of this one and let her move up in here and make a bigger brood. Then we've got this box, which you'll notice is shorter, and this is a honey super. This is where we want them making the honey. Line that up. We put our top board back on. We want our hole, our entrance, pointing towards the front. All right. Get that all pretty on there. We want to make sure that our lid goes on and is pushed forward. There's a small gap under the front that allows the bees to go in and out of that hole that I just showed you. Then we want to make sure we put the block back on right here. I'm lowering this down, and I'm going to move this out. So that you can just watch the bees right down here on the front board for a little bit.